Good evening, Dr. Banerjee. This is Sean Duncan. I'm doing my case study 4 presentation over Star Rivers Electronics. Me and Sean Commuter is in my group as well, and he went over questions 3 and 4 in my group, and I will be going over questions 1 and 2 in my group. One of my questions was, the first question was the strengths and weaknesses of Star River and what they are to the company. So we found out there was a lot more weaknesses than strengths. Obviously, they were very much in debt financing and seemed like they didn't have the ability to pay off their short-term debts. Partially because in 2000, I think it was 14. It's in my PowerPoint. Inventory growth from 13 to 14. Also in the exhibits. In 2013, they had 27,662 inventory, and then from 2013 to 2014, they spiked up to 53,000. They also added 10 more thousand to 63. So they added a lot of inventory, so that means a lot more financing for that inventory, and it seems like they can't pay that financing off, even though their accounts receivable has gone up. It does mean that they have the ability to, which is great. That's why their sales numbers has increased, which was one of their strengths that me and Sean pointed out in the company, as their sales has grown every year since 2012. So clearly investors are seeing that they have the ability to sell, but they also need to have the ability to pay off their short-term debts, because if they can't, then they're gonna come to a point where the sales are gonna go up, but then if you can't pay off your short-term debts, people are gonna want their money sometime near in the future. So now that we went over gross sales of the strengths of Star River, a couple other items that me and Sean pointed out of the strengths of Star River was the production costs have increased every year since 2012, so they're producing more. Same for depreciation expenses has increased every year. And like I said earlier, increase in accounts receivable, so obviously they have the ability to pay off their short-term debts. Now the big thing is the weaknesses, because obviously we said they had more weaknesses than strengths for Star River. So obviously one of them that we pointed out, and it's clearly obvious, that current ratio below 1 from 2012 to 2015. So that means they need to start building liquid assets, or they'll run out of money to do some more short-term. They will run out of money to cover their short-term borrowing. So when investors, it's basically Investments 101. You see a current ratio below 1 for more than a 3-year stretch, you should start to worry as a company, because obviously I just went over, they've increased their inventories, and if their current ratio is below 1, then that's a real red flag to some investors, because they really, like I said, they really need to cover their short-term borrowing. Also, one of their weaknesses is their quick ratio is extremely low. Another red flag. Quick ratio, current ratio, Investments 101, if they're extremely low and red flags, then we have problems on our hand. The trend of borrowing and having a hard time paying off debts, they need to start paying off short-term debt to increase net profits. Also, their inventory growth was a major concern from, like I said, from 2013 to 2014, which could be the problem from the extreme amounts of borrowing. Let's see. Short-term bank borrowings. They went from 29 to 35 to 69 to 82. So that 82 million, so 29, 35, 69, 82. That's just a gradual increase from year to year, and having a current ratio and a quick ratio of below red flag territory is extremely concerning for this company. Now we move on to The interest expenses were in the 6,000s from 2014 to 2015. They were not even close to that number in 2012 and 2013. The companies, every year of the increase in interest expense, they saw a decline in operating profits, so that can be seen as a correlation since the increase. Could be a bad sign of debt financing once again. Now we move on to what's the firm's outlook. Excuse me, from 2016 to 2017 for the 4% increase in sales. They see a 4% increase in sales, but they also see some of the same things they run into. If they run up in sales, that means more borrowing, that means more inventory. They clearly don't have the ability to pay off short-term borrowings if their they need to get the current ratio above 1. Did I say current? Yep, the current ratio above 1, or even this close to it. I mean, it is not a good sign. Even a 4% increase won't do anything. They need to, I don't know, buy back shares or something. The company simply cannot support a projected sales. The operating expenses are directly proportional to the increase in sales. The firm will not be able to repay the loan in a reasonable period with the amount of dividends and debt levels. So the money is being lost through the projected growth in sales. So thank you so much for listening, and hope to hear from you soon.